Hey, well, anyways, it's been a hot minute. Um, had family over, and family comes first. Anyways, hope you're doing well. This is late night. It's gotta be 1:30 in the morning. I was cleaning guns. I went to the range today, and what I'm, what I, you know, how long? 3 hours, six pistol, yeah, half hour each. I give them proper attention, including the magazines. Everything gets looked over, everything fully disassembled, everything wiped down, all carbon removed. Um, yeah, function checks, cycling checks of empty brass and ammunition. With the third gen, second gen Smith & Wessons, they will cycle empty brass, which is a nice feature. After the range, you can function check, extractor, feed. I mean, shit feeds everything. Anyways, those, yeah, I'm professional. Um, you either are or you're not when it comes to certain things. Some things I'm not professional at all. And so, anyways, my hair is it's 1:32 in the morning. Here's what it is. I got this cigar that my father he bought me from Miami. Close enough, right around there. They had a rollers at a casino, and it's the House of the Lucky Cigar. You can go on the luckycigar.com. Cigars are around $10 a piece, and they do have free shipping. And I will say this: obviously, they have cigars for newbies, flavored stuff. This isn't a flavored cigar. This is there. He gave me two Habano Perfectos, and look at that cigar, man. If this thing had a band on it, it looks like a lot better than an average $10 cigar. I gotta admit, it is a Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan, with a mixture of Honduran and Nicaraguan fillers and binder, and I think the binder was Nicaraguan. Either way, though, I smoked one of them 2 days ago, and all I could say is it was a godlike experience. So having two, one I just enjoyed, hanging out with family, and it was a great time. I'm going to try this one here, and we'll see. I like that they kept it in the sealed bag there, and being that it came from down by Miami, there's no shortage of moisture in this thing. I could have maybe let it sit out for 2 days, but being almost a closed foot, perfecto. I'm not going to take off too much because this thing had a very good draw. She said they had this Cuban man there that was rolling. It's South Florida, and there's a lot of Cuban rollers there, whether first or second generation, whatever. I could smoke a backwards if I want, but I want to see if we can get the same experience. We're going to see about the flavor. Remember, when you do a cold draw, you're not tasting the tobacco. You never taste the tobacco. When you do a cold draw, you're tasting the air coming through the foot as you suck on the cigar. No Diddy, peace be upon Diddy, closes cheeks. And as you're sucking on the cigar becomes a filter, and it's filtering the air. And I just can't stress it. And you light it on fire, and I just can't stress it enough. And then you're sucking in air and the smoke. That's where the magic is. And here we go, soft, Gentile heat. Draw combustion is pretty good considering it is a double perfecto. The feel in the hand is phenomenal. The silkiness of this wrapper, if you can see it. I don't know why I feel like I'm like showing off my cock. Can you see it? Look at the veins right there. You like that? I feel like I'm Not that I don't know if they do it anymore, but maybe 10 years ago, I was talking to ladies on the cell phone, sexting. There was a girl out of Florida, and my buddy wanted me to date his girlfriend's sister. He gave me her number, and we started texting. She's sending me pictures, doing things, naked pictures. We started sending cock pictures, back and forth. And then I went down there on Christmas Day. I blew her back out. Pop, 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 pop. I mean, not Christmas morning. I spent that with the family. But around 11 a.m., when everything was done, I went in my truck, and I drove straight to Florida. It was northern Florida, so it wasn't that bad. I think I flew down there in like 14 hours driving. Which means I blew it back out in the morning. That's right. So technically it wasn't Christmas morning when I blew her, Christmas Day when I blew her back out December 26th. Close enough though. You're telling a story, it's like you gotta zoom in a little bit. And anyways, the point is I did go down on Christmas Day. No, I didn't go down on Christmas Day. I didn't eat Christmas Day's pussy. That sounds wrong. Christmas. Yo, this guy went down on Christmas Day. Oh. Well, that's a godlike cigar. That's one of the best Habanos you've never had, and one of the best Habanos I've ever had. I can't stress enough, just buy a couple, buy a 5-pack. These Lucky Cigars, luckycigar.com, very surprised, yeah, and she got it over, I think, at the Coconut Creek Casino. Now, here's the problem. This was rolled by the guy at the Coconut Creek Casino. If you don't have the same experience, obviously, I can't say. I hope it's not a gimmick where they use really good tobacco at the casino, and then if you order online, it's some cheaper quality cigar, and then you're gonna get mad at me. Well, I mean, then buy one cigar. It's free shipping, so take a chance. As far as the cigar, the Perfecto shape, I can't recommend any other shape. I'm talking about this cigar, this blend, the Habano and the Perfecto. It's got a beautiful, sweet citrus spice, like a zesty citrus spice. Really nice. It's a quite lively cigar. It's almost a little elegant, but it's very smooth, but it's still very zesty and fun. It's a great time. It's a great type of Habano vibe. The wrapper grade on it is fantastic. A very thick wrapper, so probably a higher priming wrapper. Right there, a heavy medium plus, almost medium full, 65% darkness, long heavy finish. Quite black pepper spice. There's sourdough and some bready notes as well. Kind of chewy. The flavor really a little musty, hanging around the tongue. It's really good aged tobacco. I can't stress it enough. When I had the first one the other day, kind of blew my mind. I was expecting it to be as a gift, and like, oh God, it's probably gonna suck. It's most time a fresh roll cigar, good piece of shit. But coming from the Miami area, rolled by, I'm not saying Cuban tobacco. They almost fooled me. It felt like a Cuban cigar, where it had that light, lively flavor. That it was enjoyable without going so dark or so spicy. But it's definitely Cubanesque and that kind of vibe. There's no one's going Cuban cigars are real dark or very strong or so powerful. That's not their vibe. Although the cigar has great character, and cedar coming in too, really, with just the way the whole thing, it's like getting a full experience without going so dark or so ridiculously heavy or so boring, like where it's like black fog of flavor, where it's so heavy and dark that just you're tasting straight dark earth. It has balance to it. The citrus notes are amazing. It's like a lemon, orange citrus kind of vibe. Uh, it's a great time. I have nothing bad to say. I'm gonna come back, but all I can say is that this is one of the most pleasant surprise we've had in the past. You know, about 5 years. There's been some like surprise godlike cigars where you're like, get the fuck out of here. But this is probably the first surprise cigar rolled at a casino, rolled a fresh roll. It doesn't look. Whoever rolled this cigar definitely worked in cigar factories. Obviously, either in Cuba or whatever. He said he was. Obviously, they said he was a little Cuban guy. The rolling on this. Let me just show you again. What a beautiful cigar. Perfect. So to get a perfect burn on a double perfecto, I mean, really, class act. And here's the thing: if you're wondering what happened to Richie, my father, God bless him, my father decided he wanted to pass down my grandfather's, who was, you know, obviously connected with a family that starts with G. I'll say that. And he ran their cement business, G&G Cement, late 50s, 60s, 70s. Retired in the early 80s. So, give or take, more than 20, less than 30, I guess, right? 25 years of cement business. Yeah. My grandfather retired and he died, but he provided a life for his family and for the future. Rest in peace, my grandfather, Celeste Malazzi. He's born in the early 1920s, and he struggled, and his father died in front of him, got crushed in a mill, making wheat, you know, for the bread, and the mill was powered by the water coming down the mountain, and the water, and they had like a wheel that turned it, and inside the wheel was connected like a stone mill, and it would grind up the wheat, and, you know, barley, whatever, they make flour. And his father got caught, his jacket got caught, and he got pulled into it. My great-grandfather. My grandfather turned into basically fucking bread. I mean, that's the most Italian fucking thing I ever heard. I'm not even joking. And so then my grandfather had to take care of the family. He was the oldest boy. Then as a young teenager, World War II happened for him, or late teenager, I guess. He started early in Europe, and then he had no choice. They came to his house, and they put a gun to his mother's head, and they said, "Who's joining the army?" And he joined the army. He had to fight against the Greeks, I think. Obviously, he could be on the wrong side, the Axis side, but they were just poor people. They didn't even know, they didn't have TV or not even newspaper. They didn't have running water. They used to go to a well, a wash, or a river. So they gave him a rifle and they sent him to fucking go starve to death in Greece somewhere. But then the Italians resigned early, in a sense, from World War II. And when he made it back to Italy, because then they became, I guess, allies with America, you know, surrendering, there was Nazis and people that were still loyal to Mussolini, looking for any soldiers that surrendered or went back home and, you know, they wouldn't fight no more. And so then he had to go and hide, or else he would be killed on the spot. Partisanos, I think they call it, partisans, I don't know. Anyways, the point is, though, yeah, so he had that, and then the war ended, and then he was still poor, and that was like 1945, and from 1945 till 1957, so obviously he got married after the war. My aunt was born like in 1948, you know, his first daughter, my dad's sister, my aunt. My father was born in 1953. My father and my aunt were both born in a barn. He had to get the nun from the church to help deliver the baby, but he had to borrow a horse to go pick up the nun in the middle of the night. They were so poor that when my father was born, my aunt, his first daughter, was 5 years old. And they would give the infant to my aunt who was 5 years old because daycare, because both my aunt and both my grandmother and my grandfather had to work, or you didn't get enough food to eat. They got paid in food, really not that much money. So, so anyways, it wasn't working out post World War II. There was no GI Bill in Italy. There was no service connected. You were fucked. And well, I guess that's a very clearing feeling because you know the choice. So from 1945, after the war, till 1957, he came to America. But it was a process, and he came to America, and his cousin sponsored him to come to America. And he came here legally. Anyways, from 1945 to 1957, which is 12 years, he's able to save $200. And they had some clothes in one chest. In the chest, they had some clothes for my father, my aunt, and for my grandmother and my grandfather. And that's how good and loyal women were back then, where they stood by the family. Through real, say thick or thin, it was all thin. But that's true love, man. They came to America. They slept on the floor of my grandfather's cousin's house for a year. It was already a one-bedroom apartment, and the whole family slept on the couch and the floor for a year. So we got his paperwork right, got a union card, and then was able to go to work for the union with the Gambinos. At this point, he was in his 30s, maybe mid to late 30s. So he was not exactly a young man in a sense, like 21, go get a. So he went straight into it, worked 5-6 days a week, never bought a car. They lived in that one-bedroom apartment. They got their own place, and they stayed there for like 30 years. But in the early 80s, then he retired, or towards the end of his retirement, he would go out to bought a piece of land in Long Island, Selden, and they built. There was a little house, but they fixed it up, and they built it up. They bought it, and they bought a Cadillac, of course. Retired. My grandmother retired, and then they gave the apartment to another Italian family member who plays the accordion. I've been there. This sounds cliche, but I've been there. But the cousin that he gave the apartment to, because it was rent control, he married an Asian woman that had a chain of nail salons, smoke show, way younger than him. When I met my uncle, it was like 20 years ago. I never met this uncle. It was like an uncle once removed. Nice guy. He actually looks like the guy from LFD, the owner. It looked like Lito Gomez. Like a skinny guy, a little aloof, scarf. And he fucking had a slamming hot, like Chinese Thai, whatever, fucking Thai wife that had like 6 fucking nail salons. And she was a smoke show. Way too young. She was like 23 years old, 24 years old. He was like 50 years old. Good for him. Fuck it. And he didn't speak English. And she didn't really speak English either. She was speaking Chinese. He was speaking fucking Italian. And he played the accordion. What the fuck? I gotta go back to his house. He's still alive. Well, that uncle, he never had to work because his parents, they bought a bunch of apartments in Manhattan since like the 30s, 40s, 50s. And when they died, he inherited like 20 fucking apartments. So he just fucking rents them out. But then he got a Chinese wife. Anyway, where am I going with this? My grandfather, he retired. He didn't even have, I think, 6 years. Because he died in 1986 or 87. I think 87. He died in 86 December, I think. Pretty sure on that. Either 86, I think 86 December, I think, yeah. But anyways, he passed. This chain was his that he wore back in the day when he worked for the Gambinos. This ring was his that he wore back in the day when he worked for the Gambinos. And that's that. So my father, I didn't expect him to give to me now. I mean, and there was things, you know that will get passed down later on. But he wanted to give it to me now. He said, I want to give this to you now. And so I respect his decision. I said, okay. I mean, it's something I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And then God forbid when I go, I don't have, well, I can't say I don't have a son, but that's another story. I have a daughter, and there is probably a good chance I have an 18-year-old son, but that's a whole nother story and out of my control. You can't trust women. Um, I gotta admit, most of the women I was with, it's because I liked their vagina. I and I never looked at their behavior. Like they literally could be like terrible people, and you're like, that's cool, that's cool. You got a chocha, right? I got that's good enough for me. That's you're over 18. You got chocha, yeah, you got it. You got bad credit. You got it. Come on, come on. You made a lot of bad decisions. Come on, come on, come on. You're not trustworthy. You got chocha. So now, it's the reason why I'm still single. Because now when I meet women, I look at their behavior first, and the chocha second, and that's why I'm still single. Because when I actually look at the behavior of modern women, they're all bad. Bad credit, bad decisions. They want to just use you, get free shit. I mean, that's the way it always was, but I was only thinking about chocha. Now I'm like chocha second. Like, I don't want to live with the enemy. So who do I live with? Myself. Why? Because I'm not going to call the cops on myself and lie and get a restraining order against myself. But a woman would do that because you watch Netflix without her, or you said something about her mother, or whatever. You know, cunts are cunts. The point is this. Banger of a cigar. And I hadn't puffed on it for a while. Banger. Godlike cigar. So this cigar was given to me by my father from a casino in Miami. This was my grandfather's that my father was given to him after my grandfather died. And my father, thank God, he's still alive. I hope he has another 20 good years. He's in his 70s. I said, Pop, you don't want to go to 100. But I said, you can go to 90, 95. God bless. I said, if you go to 100, I'll take you to the woods. 100 years old, you don't want to go. 90, 93, that's a good run. You know what I'm saying? For a man especially. I'm good at 77. I don't want to go more than 77. 77, that's all I need. Then I'll go out to the woods with like one round. You know, maybe just shoot a bear in the foot. Or just get his attention and just embrace it. Like the end of Sons of Anarchy. And of course, this is imagination. I'm not going to do that. But I don't want to go to nursing homes, so I'd rather embrace the bear, you know. Banger, godlike, great smoke off with, lots of fun. Cedar, sourdough, pungent, orange zestiness, lemon zestiness, black pepper, long finish. Breadiness, saltiness, the whole thing, man. It almost feels like you're eating a breaded sourdough pretzel with salt, and you're drinking also this pepper on the pretzel, and you're drinking like a lemon lime citrus drink. If that makes any sense, or if that sounds refreshing, that's this cigar, the Lucky Cigar Habano Double Perfecto, for like $9 and change, and that's a sleeper. That is. I can't stress. I hope somebody here tries them, buys a box, and here's the thing. I hope that the online cigar is an equal blend to this. I can't say it is though, because this one was rolled at a casino. So if you don't go to the casino in Coconut Creek, buy one or two online, take a chance. I mean, hey, you're going to buy something else anyways, right? And I hope so. Make sure you get the Perfecto. I really thought it was going to be bullshit. I really thought this was going to be a bullshit cigar when I had this the other day. And I was surprised. Really surprised. I'll come back. Absolute. Look at that construction for a fresh roll rolled at a Miami casino. 0 touch-ups. on a double perfecto. I'm gonna drop the ash here in a second. I don't even need to drop the ash, but I'm going to. Look at that. Fucking look at that thick, oily wrapper. Here we go. Doesn't even want to go. Doesn't even want to go. Can you go, please? Just go away. Tap, 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 tap. Finally. All right. Mm. Mm. Oh, wow. Well, check this one off for the history books now. It's our first godlike house cigar, our first godlike casino cigar, our first godlike unbanded cigar, our first godlike gifted cigar from my father. So I and I've had it twice. It's tested. House of Lucky Cigar, LuckyCigars.com. They're not paying me to say this. I just have to recommend stuff that's great or good, or at least put out warnings or put out information or why you would like it, why you would not like it, etc. Long heavy finish, 65% darkness. Obviously flawless construction. Nutty, cedar, sourdough, bready, salt, black pepper, lemon citrus, orange citrus. Very nice. Like a zesty, refreshing, fun, lively cigar with enough balls, gentle medium full. I really, really love this cigar. 4.8 for $9. You fucking kidding me? Wow, and holding the smoke on that. Yeah, it turns up a little bit to like a solid medium full. And when you get to like a solid medium full on a Habano, that could be a good time if it's a balanced but strong, zesty but spicy, but with bready notes that you don't get on real dark sun grown or very dark, Maduros, or broadleafs. Those are great cigars. I'm saying, but there is something to be said. Well, why even smoke Habano type cigars? Well, when Habano's done right, you can have a great time without blowing out your chocha. And it's nice to have a lot of great flavor and only 65% darkness. Basically, you have like Connecticut shade and like Habanos, because there's lots of times you have like some sun growns that can get very strong and spicy. And at the end of the day, all tobacco is sun grown. I don't even care if it's in Ecuador with cloud coverage, the sun is outside. I don't care if they use cheesecloth in Connecticut, the sun's still outside. We're all sun grown. Your parents who made you at some point of their day, every day, they went outside. We're also moon grown. I'm outside, the moon's out. I don't know if you know this, they don't bring the tobacco inside at night when it's growing. So all tobacco is sun grown and moon grown. Some just has more shade than others, but it's still under the sun. So this whole earth we live in is sun grown. Your balls are sun grown. My balls are sun grown. Some balls just get more sun than others. I got a tremendous sack. Thank God I have an 8-inch dick, because my sack is big. I got tremendous sack, tremendous skull, tremendous hands, and here's what it is. I'm not rich, not poor though. I'd rather be me, middle class with the big dick and big balls, than to be like upper middle class and a small cock. Yeah, I don't compensate. I traded in my Silverado for a Corolla. What am I doing? Save the money on gas. I don't gotta compensate. There's plenty of leg room in the back for 2 adults. I've had plenty of sex in that Corolla. I've had plenty of sex in that Corolla even on the front seat. I banged a lot of women in that Corolla. I miss having a truck, but anyways, though. I don't miss filling up a truck. No Diddy, peace be upon the Silverado. You know, putting $10 a week in my Corolla and driving around wherever I want is a nice feeling. You know what I'm saying? I can go for a whole day's drive on $5 in a Corolla. It's a nice feeling. So, filter your water, eat your prunes, limit your alcohol content. I'm not gonna lie, I gotta get back on the wagon. The past few days with family visiting, I'm not gonna lie, I gave myself a pass and I turned it up. And I turned it up. I'm not gonna lie, I turned it up. So starting tomorrow, turning it down. But it was a good the past like 4 days. I turned it up. I didn't drink and drive at all, but at home I turned it up. I was with my father. I had a great time. And for me, turning it up, having 4 or 5 beers, oof, 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 you know. But I had a great time. My father. We listened to a lot of music. He liked to listen to Van Morrison, that kind of music, old stuff from the Otis Redding from the 50s and 60s. We talked a lot of great conversation, and we just had a great time. I made breakfast for my father. He read the paper, and he heckled me, but he just had a great time. He just, and then he apologized. He's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "We're old, we're cranky," And God bless. I salute. Anyways, you take care of yourself. You stay fresh. And now a new level of Richie's unlocked. Now I'm harnessing the power of my father's jewelry passed down. 'Cause I don't own any gold. I'm not a flashy guy, but this is passed down from my grandfather, Celeste, my nono. I'm harnessing this energy, baby. I gotta get some. I gotta embrace my heritage. I'm gonna go get some fucking tracksuits, Adidas tracksuits, and some silk shirts. And I gotta get back into the gel. There's a season for everything, but it is what it is. See you around. Stay fresh. Enjoy the end of the world, baby.